I have real fears that as the American people continue to take to the streets, this son of a bitch in the White House is going to invoke the Insurrection Act or declare martial law or whatever, throw the military out on the streets, try to cancel the midterms. I don't think anything's too crazy anymore with Trump, and I think we have to prepare for that.
If there's one thing you can trust Donald Trump to do, it's to self-destruct.
I'd get so many voters who would tell me, Joe, I know Trump's an ass. I know he's a bad guy, but the Democrats suck.
I'm stunned by the fact today, Joe, Russia doesn't have any tariffs. We left them off the list. We put tariffs on a fucking, island with penguins.
The people who voted for Trump voted for me. When Trump said, I want to burn it down, I want to drain the swamp, I want to blow it up, that's what I had been saying for years. But Dave, I've been very honest. I never paid enough attention to Trump.
What is your trick for staying sane during your days?
I would be dead. I mean, dead, if I didn't have.
Hi, everyone. Welcome into Sanity. And Captain Chaos strikes again. As you could hear, the Trump apologists are out in force, Dave, claiming that this entire tariff catastrophe was all by some grand design and it was all a strategy. It's the art of the deal, Dave. How many times do we have to tell you?
It was. And shockingly, the art of the deal is now number 8 bestseller on Amazon. So somebody is buying that justification for the stupidest trade war of all time. This was the art of the bluff. Because, of course, the markets were crashing. It looked like U.S. Treasuries were going to be the real issue here. And what we hear, the bond market, U.S. Treasuries, is what woke Trump up to say, oh, we're going to cause a global recession, if not a depression. Call it off. So a historic rally in the markets Wednesday, they plummet again on Thursday. So we're still trillions of market cap short of when the stupidest trade war started.
I feel like President Trump didn't get the memo that this was all a grand strategy. He did not speak from the same script that Bessent was saying. Can I just please quote our Secretary of the Treasury? I have a better one. The Secretary of the Treasury said that this was all a grand design. However, Bill Ackerman, the billionaire financier, said, quote, "This was brilliantly executed by Donald Trump. Textbook art of the deal." Did he hear himself? He was wetting his pants the day before that. Bill Ackerman was wetting his pants. And now he's like, this was just a big old brilliant strategy all along. No, it wasn't. And Donald Trump doesn't think it was either. He's the one who said people were getting yippy. They were getting spooked. So I did this.
Yeah, Ackman actually called this an economic nuclear war that was starting just 24 hours prior. So all those Trump officials coming out and claiming this was strategy. Look, we all know better. Again, the media knows better. Megyn Kelly knows better. And she, by the way, went on her show and said, see, this is why I never made a big deal out of tariffs, because I knew it was going to... Wait. You either didn't look at the calamitous damage happening to the economy, or you were just blissfully ignorant. And on top of it, you weren't realizing that we are still trillions of dollars of market cap short of when this started. And there are many who feel that we're still headed to recession because of the tariffs that remain in place.
Yes, or you're just a Trump apologist, a shameless Trump apologist. That's the third option. But anyway, to your point, Dave, the crisis has not been averted. Okay, so crisis has not been averted. There's a couple of things that I wrote down. It is under that what we just went through, this bluff, whatever the hell this was, undermined confidence in the dollar internationally, rattled financial markets internationally, scared business owners here. So you can't hire or invest because you have no idea what President Trump is going to do next, rattled the Federal Reserve, put the entire global financial system at risk. So, there are long-lasting ramifications of everything that we just went through for those 36 hours or whatever that was.
And inflation, which magically calmed down in March, is soon to skyrocket back up in the month of April once these tariffs really take hold. And other countries around the world are now looking for other trade deals, looking to find new partners to move away from the United States. There are a lot of consequences. We are far from out of the woods and are still well behind where we started. We have the perfect guest to talk about all of this with. He's Joe Walsh, former Republican congressman who voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and then had a massive 180 politically speaking.
Absolutely. No, he claims that he saw the light soon afterwards. But he also is a longstanding Tea Party guy, so he's going to explain all of that to us. Let's bring in former Congressman Joe Walsh, our old friend, who we really appreciate being here and getting his take on it. Great to see you, Joe.
Allison, I mean it. I miss you. I miss you on CNN. I miss you raking me over the coals on CNN. It's good to be with you. And Dave.
Thank you. I'm happy to do it here from the comfort of our homes as well.
Good. It's great to
be with you. But Congressman, great to have you. I think you and I share similar frustrations about this moment we're in, because theoretically our instincts are conservative, at least fiscally so. And this is just freaking utter nonsense. This is the stupidest trade war ever started in the history of the world. I can't make any sense of it. The way I look at it, there is no good ending to this. What do you make of this moment now that we're in a 90-day hold on the tariffs and we've cranked up the trade war with China to 125% tariff? What do you make of this?
I don't know what to make of it. Look, he won. Trump won fair and square. But let's be real. He's an idiot. We put a very bad man in the White House. And we're now reaping the consequences of that. Tariffs, yes, no. He's with Putin and he's not with Ukraine. I mean, we can go down the line. He's devastating lives. It amazes me, Allison and Dave, it's wrong, that one single person can have so much power.
Yes, therein lies the complete just consternation of so many people, because, Donald Trump, it's very interesting, Joe. I think, and it's cold comfort, believe me. However, if there's one thing you can trust Donald Trump to do, it's to self-destruct. He destroys his own businesses. He destroys his own marriages. He destroys his business relationships. So you can almost set your watch to it. He will self-destruct, but this time he brings the country with him. So it's one person who has decided that the country can self-destruct. And I share your feeling that that's not right, and it's not even legal. What can Congress do? You know how the halls of Congress work.
Allison, it's so funny. I'm still a Tea Party guy. And I was out there campaigning for Kamala Harris every day. Still slays me. And I'd get so many voters who would tell me, Joe, I know Trump's an ass. I know he's a bad guy, but the Democrats suck, but the border. So everybody voted for him knowing he's a bad guy. I think this tariff thing is different, though. Trump has succeeded because he lies about everything. I mean, he lies about everything. January 6th, Haitian migrants eating pets and dogs, transgender surgeries in third grade, all of that lies. But he can't lie about the economy. Like, you can't spin the economy. Your 401k is either up or it's down. You have a job or you don't. You're paying more for that car or you're not. So I think this one is going to be really hard. I will tell you, Allison and Dave, that my former Republican colleagues in Congress, screw them, I'm watching my language, they 3 months ago, instead of raising their right hand and take that oath, as I did, to defend the Constitution, they literally took an oath to defend Trump. So we talk about a constitutional crisis. We only have two independent branches of government right now. That's the problem. We only have two independent branches of government. This is scary. It's a scary place.
Yeah, a lot of on the left take a lot of heat for saying this is essentially a monarchy right now, that we're ruled by a king. I got to be honest. And again, I am a lifelong Republican, like the former Republican congressman I'm talking to right now. I don't think it goes far enough. I think Republicans of Congress have become the Branch Davidians, and Donald Trump is David Koresh, just saying, look, come with me no matter what, even to your own death. And most of them Tom Tillis, Paul Bacon, there's a handful of adults. Ted Cruz actually stood up and said this is stupid. So there are a handful. But as a whole, has this become a cult?
It's Yes, Dave, and I've been saying that for years, and a bunch of people have been saying that for years. It is a cult. When I first came out against Trump 7 years ago, wow, a bunch of my former colleagues privately would call me, almost all of them, and they'd say to me privately, Joe, I agree with everything you're saying about Trump, but I can't say it publicly. And this would go on every year. The desire to stay in power, the desire to be relevant. I was in right-wing media, the desire to have great ratings. Adam Kinzinger and I are buddies. We got elected together. If you're an Adam Kinzinger and you're a Republican, you stand up against Trump, your career is done. I don't think people sufficiently understand that. Your career is done. That's a hard thing for most politicians to do.
Joe, just take us quickly through your trajectory, because I think you're interesting, and I think in some ways you can give us a roadmap of the people who fall under Trump's spell. You were a moderate, as I understand it, a moderate Republican to begin with when you got involved in public service and politics. Then you became a Tea Party person, and you said that you still feel aligned with the Tea Party. At one point, were you a Trump supporter at one point originally?
Yeah, Allison, I've had a weird freaking journey that like nobody else has had. I've been on the road that America needs to go on. I voted for Trump in 2016. I'm a proud Tea Party guy. Yeah, Dave, what a knucklehead I was. Yes, so I voted for Trump in 2016. Then I woke up and I said, oh my God, this is horrible. But I come from the MAGA base. I call myself a reformed MAGA gangbanger. I don't know of any other never Trumper who comes from the MAGA base. It's been a hellish road. It's been difficult. Allison, you know, back in the day, I was a very divisive politician. I helped create the conditions that gave us this madman. And I've had to publicly apologize on CNN.
But what broke the spell? Like for you, what broke the spell?
Hold on. Can we go back before that?
Yeah,
because I was a Republican until grab him by the pee. And that was the day I switched my affiliation, and it will never go back. Yeah. Why did you vote for him? Because that's the moment I can't understand it.
Dave, it's a great question. The people who voted for Trump voted for me. Trump's voters were my voters. I wanted disruption. Like when Trump said, I want to burn it down, I want to drain the swamp, I want to blow it up. That's what I had been saying for years. So I understood why my people voted for him. But Dave, I've been very honest. I never paid enough attention to Trump. I really didn't. He blocked me on Twitter back in 2015 because I would criticize him. But once he got elected and I started to pay attention to him, and I'm on right-wing radio all over the country, I said, my God, I can't support this. But I understood we needed disruption. I didn't sufficiently realize what a horrible, evil disruptor he is.
See, Joe, we're in a blue bubble here. Dave, not so much. He's from Colorado, and he has friends and relatives who are Trump supporters.
Oh, almost all of them.
Yeah. So, but I'm in a big blue bubble. And so when you talk to your same people and the people, your neighbors and colleagues, what are they saying right now? Are they freaking out? Do they have buyer's remorse? Are they all in?
So, Allison, it's a great question. And again, because I've had a very unique road coming from MAGA, I still engage with MAGA every single day. And Dave and Allison, I'm a Catholic boy. It's part of my penance. I've got to spend the rest of my life trying to help these folks. And every now and then I can reach some of them, and Dave, they get out of the cult. But I can tell you right now, they're confused. This tariff stuff has them confused. What Elon Musk has been doing has them confused. I've had a few of them every day say, hey, Joe, this isn't what I voted for. And when I hear that, I respectfully say, I love you, but stop. This is exactly what you voted for. But I think there's real confusion among Trump's voters right now about what he's doing.
Prior to this, he was at 47%, more popular than he'd ever been. Democrats were at 29 as a whole, less popular than they'd ever been. What do you make of that dynamic?
See, that's the thing, Dave. Like the Democrats right now just suck, and that works to Trump's benefit. When I was on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris, and people would say, Joe, I know Trump's an ass. Typically, most often they would say, but the Democrats look down on me. They dismiss me. The Democrats have developed this brand of being elites, right, like snobs, and they've lost connection with regular people. Trump's a bullshitter and he lies to these people, but like Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs, an utter lie. But Democrats ignored the issue of all these migrants in the country for a long, long time. So as long as the Democratic brand is so bad, Trump's going to be fine, I think.
Joe, I don't know if you answered this. Was there a moment that woke you up? Like for David, it's the P word. I mean, him saying that grab him by the P. Was there a moment after you voted for Trump where you were like, what just happened? And you came to your senses?
Yes, there were two. There were three. When he won in 2016, and we all found out that Russia screwed with our election to help him win, instead of doing the right thing and Donald Trump saying, well, that's wrong. I don't want Russia messing with our elections. Doggone it, let's investigate what Russia did. Trump, because he's a jerk, got all defensive and said Russia didn't mess with our elections. Allison, I was the poorest member of Congress, the poorest.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I loved it because politically it was dynamite. My wife hated it. But when Trump won, for the first time in my life, I was making a lot of money. I was doing the right-wing radio thing all over the country. But I remember 2 months after Trump was president in early 2017, I came home from my radio show one night and I looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to lose all this. Sometime in the next year, I'm going to publicly have to turn against him. And that was point number 2, Allison, because as I listened to Trump, I realized that every time he opens his freaking mouth, he lies. I can't support a president who lies like that. My final straw was Helsinki in the summer of 2018, when he stood in front of the world and said, I believe Putin and not my own people. I went on my radio show that night, Fox News that day, and I said, damn it, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure he doesn't win. So I publicly finally came out against Trump, and that was the end of me.
Good for you, Joe. I applaud you for that, because Helsinki was such a gut punch, and I waited for our friends at Fox. I waited for them to say the right thing. I waited for what they would have said had Obama ever said something like that. And when they didn't, I thought, wow, the hypocrisy is just so stark.
Allison, are you surprised that at Fox they never ever did that?
Yes. Yeah. It's inconceivable to me.
As am I. Stunned. Yeah. And I'm stunned by the fact today, Joe, Russia doesn't have any tariffs. We left them off the list. We put tariffs on a fucking, island with penguins. No humans. It's uninhabited. We left Russia off the list. That's not okay.
What a coincidence.
That's not okay.
I wonder why that is.
So a month and a half ago, I went on CNN with Jim Sciutto, and I said, I forgot what Trump had done that day, but I said, damn it, I'm sick of this. Let's just call it what it is. Trump's a Russian asset. Let's just call it out for what it is. And Jim Sciutto was very protective. Well, we don't have evidence of that, blah, blah, blah. But Dave, to your point, everything he's done the past 12 years has been to the benefit of Putin. Everything. So figure it out.
Even this moment here, even with tariffs, this plays into the chaos in the Western bloc that Putin has long wanted. This chaos. But look, Allison brought up the point. I talk with Republicans just like you do, Trump voters all the time. But what they tell me now is, I don't want to talk politics. That is the line on down, my friends, my family, and I respect it because we've had some awful blowups recently. Why are people still with him in this moment? And they are with him in large numbers.
He's their protector. He's their clenched fist. He's their guy who's going to bring back 1954 America, where the plant was in town. America was mostly a white Christian country. Men married women. women married men. There were only two genders and on and on. You could say Merry Christmas. Dave, this is the stuff they've told me over the years. He's going to bring back that America, and he's going to go after CNN and MSNBC and all the bad people. He's going to go after the bad people. He's their cult leader, Dave. You said it. He's their cult leader.
Yeah, but I take Joe's point. I think that when you screw with people's tariffs, it's different than having some theoretical idea of we're going to go back to having two genders, where you don't have any pronouns and we punish you for pronouns. But when you screw with people's tariffs, with people's futures, with their 401ks, it gets really serious.
But hold on. Their line is, we don't care about Wall Street. We care about Main Street. Again, brilliant line. What do you make of that line?
Well, it's a brilliant line, but Main Street's going to get hammered as well by these tariffs. So that's really kind of a cool thing. This is why I think the tariff thing is different, because he could lie about January 6th and the Haitian migrants and all of that, but we live the economy. So how can Trump stand up and say, your 401k is doing great if your 401k isn't? Like, we live the economy. And so if I lose a job, Trump can't lie and say I didn't lose a job. That's why I think, and sadly, Dave, maybe you think this, a lot of these Trump supporters I talk to love him, and I always say I love you, but they're going to have to feel some pain.
I've often said to Allison, I think the truest thing he ever said, the most honest thing he ever said, I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and not lose support. And to this day, I still think it's right, because I still can't avoid the fact that I think he'll get through this. I don't know how, I don't know why, but to the notion that these tariffs, bring in $2 billion a day, as he just said, they don't bring in a dime. That they're going to bring back manufacturing base to the United States. Will Trump voters then say, okay, I'll pay $2,500 for an iPhone and I'll pay $350 for a pair of Nikes? Will they be okay with that? I'm sorry, I'm animated, man.
Yeah, where was he storing that?
No.
Will they support that?
No, Dave, they won't. I don't think they will. If that pain hits, then they're going to be upset. Look, as a rule, because I was a Trump supporter and I come from MAGA, and because I used to be a divisive jerk, I never go after his voters. I always respectfully try to engage them. But Allison and Dave, I'm so disappointed in Trump's media sycophants and all my former congressional colleagues. They're the ones who know better, and they've decided to just sell their souls.
Yes. And it's as though they don't think we have videotape of what they used to say when it was any other president. But we do.
Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson.
It's shocking.
It's unbelievable to me.
It truly is shocking. I can't fully explain it. I know everybody wants their bread buttered. I know everybody likes making millions of dollars off of the, Trump tailwinds, but it's shocking, that turnaround. So Joe, obviously it's nice to be able to all vent our spleen. It's nice. I see you all the time calling out the lies, and I think that it's really helpful to have such a truth teller. But beyond that, what's the call to action? Since people can't believe that, like you said, one unilateral person makes a unilateral decision that tanks the country and the global economy. What is the answer? What should people be doing right now?
Well, Allison, I think you're seeing the answer. You saw it out in the streets 3 days ago, this past weekend. Millions and millions and millions of people in all 50 states out marching and protesting and resisting against Trump. That's going to be the key. The Democratic Party is not going to be an opposition party. The people are going to have to kind of pick up the Democratic Party. We do not have an independent Congress. The courts have got to hold, and I worry about that. But then it's come down to the American people rising up in this moment. But again, I think we've always had a failure of imagination in these Trump years. Like the three of us, if we were talking 20 years ago, none of us would have imagined that a United States president would lose an election and not accept the result and then try to overthrow the election. He did that. I don't want to sound like a crazy man, but I have real fears that as the American people continue to take to the streets, this son of a bitch in the White House is going to invoke the Insurrection Act or declare martial law or whatever, throw the military out on the streets, try to cancel the midterms. I crazy stuff, but I don't think anything's too crazy anymore with Trump, and I think we have to prepare for that.
I honestly believe this, and I feel like people are going to come after me today. I think he's going to bomb Iran just before 28, and he's going to say we can't have an election. I feel like a tin hat conspiracy theorist, but I genuinely fear that.
How could you guys not think that? How could you not think that Donald Trump will do anything to win? He doesn't leave. When he loses, he's certainly not going to leave now that he's won. I mean, of course we think that.
If he goes, can MAGA survive him being off the stage? Can it outlive Donald Trump? Can J.D. Vance pick up this train and keep it moving? Yes. Or is it over? Yeah.
No, MAGA has moved beyond Trump. I told you 7 years ago when I came out against Trump, all my Republican colleagues would reach out to me privately and say, I agree with you, Joe. That number has shrunk. So now MAGA is no longer the fringe or a wing of the party. MAGA is the party. I don't think in my lifetime, and I'm an old fart, I don't think the Republican Party in my life will change. I think it's a MAGA party, and I don't think someone like me would ever be welcome back in that party. I think I'd have an easier chance becoming a Democrat. J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, they're where the base of this party is.
Well, then what's the antidote here? Will Democrats ever run a true moderate? Look, I've said often, I don't think Bernie Sanders, I understand he's the most popular politician actually in the United States right now, net, and certainly the most popular Democrat. Will they ever choose a moderate candidate? Can we have that, or will they just run someone to the far left and keep this thing going?
That's a great question, Dave. We don't know the answer. They need a moderate candidate, and they need a fighter. They need a fighter. Democrats come across as such wussies. They need a fighter. We're living in a populist moment. We need a righteous populist. Trump's an evil populist. What we need is a third party. The two-party system, to me, should be done. But that's not going to happen for a while. So it's got to be the Democrats. This is a weird moment in time where Joe Walsh and AOC have to be on the same side.
I think you guys underestimate the Democrats. There are lots of fighters in the Democratic Party. And by the way, there are lots of actual fighters who have served in the military.
Name one that could win right now, because there isn't one.
Rahm Emanuel. Andrew Cuomo is a fighter. I don't know if he's too tarnished, but Andrew Cuomo is a fighter. Pete Buttigieg served. Jason Crow served in.
Oh, believe me, if I could vote for Jason Crow tomorrow, I would do that. I would campaign for him. I would run his media. I will walk away from this podcast that I love.
What?
Because that's a
walk
guy
away from the Camerata fortune.
That's a guy that cares about the country and puts the country. But Don Bacon does the same thing for Republicans.
Agreed.
You know, we should give some credit to Don Bacon, to Tom Tillis, to Rand Paul. How hard is it to oppose Trump in this environment?
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard, but Bacon has always been an outlier. He's a total moderate who's never liked Trump. He'll be challenged in a primary next year and probably lose. So I think his days are numbered. Rand Paul, screw Rand Paul. He goes along with Trump on most things. He's just not a tariff guy. But no, Dave, it's still the case that if you oppose him publicly as a Republican, your days are numbered. And I just don't see that changing.
But Congressman, is being a congressman so great that you have to sell your soul? Honestly, thank you. So why do we care? Why is everybody clinging to these jobs? They're not that great.
Well, here's the deal, Allison, and you know this. You walk around Capitol Hill, you think you are a god. You got all these little young staffers following you around. You just think you're the greatest. And people bow to you and call you congressman and congresswoman. So yes, it becomes addictive, and you don't want to lose that. But to your point, Allison, how pathetic is that? Because it's not enough to sell your soul for.
I'm so glad she asked that question. Like I am a lot of the things she said. Can you elaborate on that? Like, what is so intoxicating about being a congressman?
Power.
You got to run every 2 years. You got to make phone calls begging for money.
Yeah.
You're away from your family half the year. What more on that intoxicating feeling, and the overall lifestyle to me also does not sound like one that I would hesitate to give up.
It's just, Dave, it's the power. Like in our country's history, there have only been 13,000 members of Congress. It's the power. Elon Musk has a lot of power, but as a congressman, Jason Crow from Colorado, man, you've got a lot of power, and it's the way people treat you. None of them will admit this. I will. People treat you reverently, like you're something really special. I can't say that enough. Everywhere you go and everywhere you walk, people are taking care of you and addressing you as sir, and it begins to go to your head. You begin to think you're really important.
I get it. I mean, TV has that same halo effect.
Allison, TV.
It does.
Yeah. So you know how that does it. Do you have any theory, Congressman, on who got into Trump's ear about why he's doing this pause now? I mean, just a theory. Is it Elon Musk? Is it Laura Loomer? I mean, who's the person who's like bringing him back from the edge that could make Trump change his, plowing ahead with, 50% tariffs?
I think it's 3 or 4 super wealthy dudes. Elon, I think this guy, Bill Ackman, what a nut he is. I think there are 3 or 4 guys like that, really wealthy people who've been calling him every 5 minutes for the last week and saying, "Dear sir, you got to stop this. This is we're falling off a cliff." No Republican, no member of Congress persuaded him. It was Elon and a few wealthy guys.
Elon had lost this morning at market open $138 billion, 30% of his net worth.
Hand me a tissue. I'm going to
This year. Hey, that would make him the 5th richest person in the world. That amount of wealth he lost this year.
Good.
But good. I think it speaks to who may have gotten in his ear.
Yeah, fair.
Because he was calling Peter Navarro dumber than a bag of rocks.
I know.
And saying that was an insult to rocks.
Yes,
added.
I know that.
And I think he was saying this. He was talking to Trump, wasn't he? I mean, listen. Yes. The only reason he's saying that is on the tariff. So he's calling Trump dumber than a bag. I think it was bricks. I should be clear. He was talking to Trump, right?
Completely. But Dave, completely. But think how silly this is. So this is your whole program, tariffs, and now you're going to pause them for 90 days. What does that mean? What does that mean? And you're just going to go after China? What does that mean? Like, I don't think this helps. I think it's the confusion and the instability. People are just going to say, I'm done. I'm done with the United States now for a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually think had he done this from the beginning, he would have had support not across the board, but this is the right way to take on China in a silo, in a one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and try to get the EU with you. Don't tariff fucking Vietnam. Sorry again for the F-bomb. People move to Vietnam to hurt China. Vietnam's economy is the size of Missouri. So I actually think he might have had support in this trade war because China has been stealing our technology, forcing our technology transfers. They are cheaters on a global scale.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear everything that you're saying, but Donald Trump is not a surgical thinker. He's not a critical thinker. He's an impulsive person. And again, to your point, Congressman, everybody knew that. Oh, that's good. He keeps people guessing. That's great. Yeah. I've heard some of the right-wing people. That's good. Foreign leaders, it's good that they think that they're dealing with a madman. No, not people's 401ks aren't.
He doesn't believe in friends. He doesn't believe in allies. He doesn't believe in NATO. He doesn't really believe we're part of the free world. And we underestimate constantly. I know. I shouldn't say stuff like this. He'd love to be a dictator. He'd love to be an authoritarian strongman. I think his relationship with Putin is weird. He adores strongmen and he despises our friends. I don't know why that's not talked about more.
And I don't think, Joe, you need to worry. I don't think you need to have any compunction about saying it. He says it. He is the person. Donald Trump says he wants to be a dictator on day one, a tyrant on day one. He wants to stay longer than these 4 years. He says it out loud. So you're quoting him.
We got to get your dose of sanity, but real quick, name one thing that you like that Donald Trump is doing.
Damn you, Dave. Damn you. Because you know what? In the 99 years I've been doing this, nobody's ever asked me that question. What's the one? Look, I'm very pro-Israel. I don't think Trump gives a damn about Israel, but Trump is very pro-Israel. There, Dave.
Okay. Well done. So Joe, we ask all of our guests who come on Sanity to share with us their dose of sanity. How do you stay sane right now? What is your trick for staying sane during your days?
I would be dead. I mean, dead if I didn't have dogs. I would be absolutely dead. I spend time every day and especially every weekend with my dogs, and we just go out in the middle of nowhere and turn everything off. I just, Allison, when I'm done, because I'm not making any money anymore doing what I'm doing, and if I keep beating my head against the wall, I'm just going to quit in a year and I'm going to go live in the middle of New Mexico somewhere with 10 dogs.
What kind of dogs?
Your wife, I hope. I hope.
What kind of dogs do you have? Because I just got home from a one-day trip, and my dog made me feel like I'd been gone for a week, and God bless them, man. It was amazing.
Is that not the greatest? Is that not the greatest? Way better than people. People suck. Labs and hounds.
Wow.
That's the name of the next podcast.
Yeah,
the two of us and Joe,
yes,
Labs and Hounds.
I like that. I like that a lot. So it's a little like Fox and Friends, but it's better.
I love it.
That's so great, Joe. Thank you. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for talking all this through with us.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Dave, it's fucking great to meet you. And Allison, I adore you. It's so good to see you.
The feeling's mutual, Joe. It's great to see you, and we'd love to do this again. Come back anytime. We'd love your truth serum. Yeah.
The weekly Walsh report sounds good to me.
Love.
Thank you, brother.
Love. Thanks, guys.
All right, from sanity to levity, have you seen the Minecraft movie?
No, I can't say that I have.
A lot of
Although
people
I do
have.
love Jack Black. I would watch him read the phone book, so I might go see it for Jack Black.
Jack Black is amazing, but I thought it was going to flop. $160 million opening weekend domestically, $310 million globally. That makes it the #1 video game movie ever.
Yeah.
And the #1 opening weekend of the year. So apparently it's got something.
Yeah.
People want to see.
I guess, is it that Minecraft was so popular? Is that what the secret sauce is? Or is it Jack Black?
Well, that's a part of it. But maybe the greater part is what's happening inside the theater, because the reviews have been terrible. It's got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. 48.
Really? It's not just a fabulous paragon of American theater?
I know,
that's
shocking.
Strange.
Right? But in the theater is when all the fun is being had, because the moment from the game Minecraft where you're building comes Chicken Jockey, which is part of the game being celebrated in outrageous ways in the theater that are ending up with police in the theater. We have a little bit of examples. This is going nuts on TikTok. Okay, now if I'm a family there with my kids, I'm pissed.
And also, I'm terrified. That's a little trauma-inducing. There's like shots. I don't like the audio. I don't like a chicken being injured in front of my kids or whatever happened to that chicken.
There was an actual chicken in the theater
point.
there,
I don't think the chicken agreed to this. I don't like that. I don't. Well, okay.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Why?
And here's why. Because, look, there's not many reasons to go to the movie theater anymore. There's just so few reasons. There's not great movies.
But a live chicken.
It's so great at home. But that moment, I want to go now. because I want to see the chicken jockey explosion. It was somewhat like the Gentle Minions movement when the last Minions film came out, and troves of young men went there in suits, and it was amazing.
This is interesting, Dave. This shows me that you and I really are from different generations, because what I think is
I know what you're going to say.
a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've never seen it,
that's
but
amazing.
I've heard
so
that.
Rocky Horror Picture Show was a whole full-on experience. You would dress up like the characters, and there's a raining sequence where where Susan Sarandon opens an umbrella, and everybody starts shooting water guns in the theater. So you have to open your umbrella in the theater.
Oh my God, that's amazing!
It's amazing.
So don't you want that?
It was fun for Rocky Horror Picture Show, but again, I wasn't bringing kids to that.
Oh, so it was everyone was in on it.
Yeah, everybody was in on it.
And this is probably an issue with families and young kids. But
I don't want the police showing up. So the police escorted some of these kids out? Is that what happened?
Yes, and now one theater in New Jersey is not allowing groups of young kids without an adult, which, I mean, it's a little ridiculous. I think they should actually embrace it and say you have to be older than 12 or 13, whatever you choose, and embrace the fun, man. There's not many reasons for kids to go to theaters, let alone us. And the throwing of the popcorn and everything.
Yeah, I do
the
like
movie looks terrible, but
that part looks fun. I totally agree with you, and I think that theaters need people to go. They need the active participation might just economically save them.
Chicken jockey!